In the previous grounded reflection, I talked about the hard stop. The moment when I woke up, I knew things had to change. I didn't have a full plan. I didn't know exactly what was next. I just knew I couldn't keep living the same way and pretending it was fine. As I mentioned before, here's the thing about change. Even after the realization that something has to shift, life doesn't suddenly look different the next morning. I was still coming back from my part time job, drained and exhausted. What once started as a good environment had turned toxic over time. And friends I connected with were busy with their own lives. I was living the status quo, simply maintaining. One day after work, I walked inside and I sat down on the stairs, wondering what was it going to fucking take for things to change. Frustrated, I just paused and quietly asked the universe for direction. In that moment, I simply surrendered and asked for help. Within 24 hours, I received a text from a friend I knew through improv. He said he was starting a coaching circle and asked if I would be interested. At the time, I didn't really know what a coaching circle entailed, but I immediately said yes. It took a few weeks before we actually got up and running. There turned out to be four of us. We met at a local cafe about every 3 weeks for roughly 2 hours. And right away, I could feel the difference. The conversation had depth, it had intention. It was a safe space where we could listen to each other. And there was room to talk about what was really going on in our lives, what we were all working on, and how we could support each other. No one was trying to fix anyone. No one had to perform. We just showed up honestly. And for the first time in a long time, I felt seen, heard, and understood. And more than anything, I felt like myself. I didn't have to shrink. I didn't have to explain why I needed this. I didn't have to pretend the old environment still fit me. I could just be there. That meant more to me than I realized at the time. Looking back, the coaching circle gave me evidence that those conversations existed, that there were people who cared about growth, that I wasn't asking for too much by wanting something deeper. For a long time, there had been this need inside of me that I didn't fully understand, something I felt throughout my life. And in that space, I started to understand it. The problem was I had spent too much time trying to fit into places that didn't support who I was becoming. And that was a huge realization. Because when you spent years putting everyone else first, choosing something that feeds you can feel uncomfortable. And it can even bring up some guilt. But sometimes the most aligned decision you can make is when you put yourself in a room where your real self has a space to breathe. The coaching circle didn't solve everything. It didn't magically change my life, but it showed me what alignment felt. And once I felt that, I couldn't go back pretending that I didn't need it. The group lasted a few months before everyone eventually moved in different directions. I was sad when it ended, but now I knew what I had been missing. And because I knew, I started looking for the next thing. The coaching circle became a spark, not because it gave me every answer, and not because it showed it, but because it showed me what was possible. One yes to something that I didn't fully understand yet, but somehow knew I needed. That's one lesson I carry with me now. Change doesn't always begin with a complete plan. Sometimes it starts with the next honest yes. The room where the conversation feels different. The place where you don't have to pretend. The people who help you remember parts of yourself that have been quiet for too long. For me, that coaching circle was one of those first rooms.